All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And play is gonna play, hate is gonna hate, and oligarchs gonna oligarch and pay. And Michael Bloomberg is once again in the news for all kinds of shenanigans. It's actually, I mean, this is a wild story to me, Cody. Actually, let's just dive right in. Let's just dive right in and tell us what's going on.
Okay, so the headline for today would be that Michael Bloomberg is qualified for the upcoming Democratic debate. I believe actually it is tomorrow night in Nevada. Now, I thought it'd be fun to take a look at what Bloomberg's own publication, Bloomberg News, has to say about that.
I mean, this is making people furious, though. Like, if I were Julian Castro, if I were Tom Steyer, if I were Cory Booker, I mean, the reaction to this is very emotionally charged and understandably so. Understandably so. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, well, I want to go through this a little bit. First of all, let's talk about what happened, how he qualified, why he qualified, and a couple things like that. So let's go through. Michael Bloomberg has qualified to join the other Democratic presidential candidates on the debate stage for the first time on Wednesday, according to a new NPR PBS NewsHour/Marist poll. Bloomberg reached the 19% support in the poll released Tuesday, becoming his fourth with more than 10% support, meeting the Democratic National Committee's threshold for qualifications. We have a quote here. Mike is looking forward to joining the other Democratic candidates on the stage and making the case for why he's the best candidate to defeat Donald Trump and unite the country, campaign manager Kevin Sheekey said in a statement. Now, one thing I always find is kind of rich about this, we'll go through this more in a second, is why they have to get a statement from the campaign manager. I mean, he owns the publication. He really has no input in what they're putting. I also remember early on, he said that Bloomberg News wouldn't be covering the election, wouldn't be covering the primary because, he owned the website. So anyway, they mentioned that the former New York mayor hadn't qualified for debates that have occurred since he joined the race November 24th. Because he's entirely self-funding his campaign, no way of looking at it, the DNC had been requiring candidates to have a certain number of individual donors to qualify. However, the party announced weeks ago it would cut the fundraising requirement starting with the February 19th Nevada debate. So that's kind of the crux of the controversy here, is that as Bloomberg himself put it, he is self-funding his campaign, and that is why he cannot make the unique donor threshold. For those of you guys who are a little unaware with it, one of the requirements the DNC had for the debates, they implemented it after 2016, was they said to gauge grassroots support, they would chart the individual unique donors you have, and I think it was 300,000 was the last one. Anyway, when you receive no donations,
it was getting
from anyone.
intimidating. I mean, it was getting big. No, I shouldn't say intimidating.
If you're in the race at this point, though, you would have the donors.
Yes, you would. But these were serious requirements. I mean, serious enough that Tom Steyer was dumping, $7 or $8 into every $1 donation he got, just so that he could qualify for that threshold under risk of not appearing on the debate stage. And he was even parlaying the purchase of climate change bumper stickers into a donation or whatever, But
Bloomberg could have also just done that if he wanted to. He just didn't want to.
Yeah, but he's an oligarch, and oligarchs can just...
What does it even mean he's an oligarch? It's not a response. He easily, if he wanted to, could have spent the money to get the donors. He just didn't want to take money from anyone, and I don't understand why.
Okay, so I don't get in trouble for defining oligarch incorrectly.
Okay, you can look it up first?
But it's, according to Merriam-Webster's, okay, a small group of people or a person having control of a country, organization, or institution. All right, a country governed by an oligarchy or a government by an oligarchy. And that's literally, that's the word for oligarchy. An oligarch
would be a member, I'm assuming, of the oligarchy.
Be a ruler in an oligarchy.
Or
especially in Russia, a very rich business leader with a great deal of political influence.
Especially in Russia, so not America. Also, nowhere in there does it say they can't receive donations from people. If he wanted to, he did.
At least Tom Steyer was playing by some rules here. And you have to respect a man that's playing by some rules. Now, sure, it's frustrating that it's easier for wealthy people to play by those rules.
If Michael Bloomberg sold $1 nice new era baseball hats with this really tasteful M on the front on his website, only $1 because he's taking a $19 bath on him because he doesn't even care because he's so rich, you would say, well, at least he's playing by the rules. Dude, come on. I wouldn't have liked that either.
Because that's what Tom Steyer was doing.
And it was bad. I don't like when he did it.
Yes, but there are silver linings in thunderclouds.
We got some more stuff to get to, so we got to move on a little bit because I want to cover a few
I have
things
more
here.
respect for the oligarch Tom Steyer than I do the oligarch Michael Bloomberg.
Okay. That's word of the day, by the way, guys, if you're wondering. We'll have to get a whiteboard with the word of the day, and we'll use it until there's no meaning anymore. But one more thing I wanted to point out in this Bloomberg article, and this just cracks me up, and it's kind of the problem with, I guess, to get to your point. Hey, maybe this is why he's an oligarch. How about this? So they have a little, what is this?
How am I attacking the guy more than you?
It says Bloomberg is the founder and majority owner of Bloomberg LP, the parent company of Bloomberg News. Anyway, unrelated, Bloomberg's appearance on the debate stage would inject a new dynamic into what would be the ninth face-off among largely the same group of candidates. Now, here we go. Here's some pure speculation from the website that is owned by Michael Bloomberg, just speculating. With the battle for crucial African-American votes underway, his rivals and debate moderators are sure to question him about the stop-and-frisk policy he oversaw in New York, as well as other comments that have resurfaced lately, including one in which he suggested that a decline in redlining, the bank practice of denying loans to minorities, helped trigger the 2008 financial crisis. He's also likely to face scrutiny about self-funding his campaign, which several rivals have called buying the election. The former New York mayor has said he's looking forward to joining his rivals, even if it means more scrutiny.
Okay, can you just pause there for a second, Cody? Because look at that phraseology. Introducing a new dynamic. Could you imagine if, Donald Trump were to come out and just say, oh, that constitutional law about not having to house American soldiers inside of your home? Well, we're going to get rid of that. Introducing a new dynamic into American family life.
Dude, I'm sorry.
What if he just
that's
said,
crap. That means nothing.
What do you mean? Oh, come on. You could outlaw guns and literally say, we're going to introduce a new dynamic into the American society.
Okay, but we're not talking about the restriction of our rights here. We're talking about Michael Bloomberg's appearance on one debate
No, but that
stage.
literally sounds like what a mafioso says when he goes up to a restaurant.
I
He's
think
it's a really nice restaurant you got here. It seems like you need protection because it'd be a shame to see something happen. It'd be a new dynamic for your institution.
No, I think you're misunderstanding. I need to get to 500 words with some giant grand conspiracy. The author needed a sentence there. Well, I guess the author could have said, oh man, I'm so mad dumb Mike Bloomberg's on the debate stage. But yeah, dude, they just said he'll add a new twist. It'll be something new.
Your
It'll
monkey
be a new
on a
wrinkle.
typewriter impression was spot on.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like I said, I think Michael Bloomberg's brain damaged you or something to get so lost in that one.
No,
line.
I love the Bloomberg. I love the Bloomberg candidacy.
I'm just saying, I think that was really...
It warms my soul because of its authenticity. Like we literally...
I guess it's a good example right here, right? By the way, Michael Bloomberg owns this website, and wow, want to be cool when he's in the debate stage. Can't wait. It's like, I guess. I mean, he is literally your boss. But there's one more thing I want to get into here, though, before we get too lost in nonsense. There's a lot of... They mention it here, right? The idea that he previously was not able to make debate stages because he wasn't accepting donations, and that was a requirement.
And he was claiming that it was a strategic approach avoiding the debates.
He's basically just saying, I don't need donors, I'm so rich. But there was news that broke was as late as the end of January, 31st January. DNC overhauls debate requirements, opening door for Bloomberg. So the committee is eliminating the donor threshold, which had functionally barred Bloomberg from the stage. The DNC is drastically revising its criteria to participate in primary debates after New Hampshire doubling the polling threshold, that was a huge one, and eliminating the individual donor requirement, which could pave the way for former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg to the stage beginning in mid-February, which, spoilers, it did. However, how did this happen? And that's where things get a little interesting, is how this actually happened. So let's take a look at this. This is an article from Sludge. I've done a little look into them. From what I could tell, the stuff they have in here, quotes from people, pretty legitimate stuff. So they mention here, as a last week, the DNC eliminated the individual donor threshold for candidates to qualify future debates. Oh, they mentioned this, however. The change came directly from Tom Perez, who'd be the chairman, and the Rules and Bylaws Committee members did not give any input or hold a vote, according to multiple people close to the matter. Sources reported that the decision was announced without a roll call vote of the around 430 DNC national members, most of whom learned about the change for the first time in the media. That, to me, it's like in sports when you find out you got traded in the media,
Yeah, that's brutal, man.
It's the worst way you want to find. It's like, imagine that. You think you have arrogant you think you have a job on this Rules and Bylaw Commission, and you at least find out the rules that are changing, and all of a sudden you open up your newspaper one day. By the way, the rules changed in the park. What? I'm literally on the committee. How come I didn't hear about this? And I just want to get to the one quote they have here.
Well, that's because committees matter only in democratic institutions. And the DNC is not a democratic institution. Tom Perez can unilaterally change the rules. So it's kind of like the monarchy in England. It's a figurehead, you know what I'm saying? But really, it's the reverse of the monarchy in England, because the monarchy in England doesn't have power and are figureheads. Whereas in the DNC, the committees are the figureheads that try and convince the public that it's somehow a democratically run institution, when in reality, Tom Perez can do whatever he wants. I mean, Tom Perez can just change the rules, and he did for his buddy Michael Bloomberg. And why is he his buddy? Because he donated millions after not having donated for 20 years to the DNC, but in 2019 he donated millions.
He donated millions
to super PACs and
to candidates. Yeah, as far as money to the DNC, because they do actually have that in this article. Just to be fair to Bloomberg, he's only donated $300,000 directly to the DNC, but then he also donated $800,000 to a joint fundraising PAC between the DNC and state parties, and he's donated, millions and millions and millions to various candidates across. I think like 15 candidates got a $2 million Bloomberg package in 2018 to run. So this
is why I absolutely love, don't get me wrong, I love the Bloomberg candidacy. We used to mask the fact that millionaires had influence and developers with their donation checks to different municipalities ran the show. We used to mask it and try and euphemize it. But with the Bloomberg candidacy, the mask is off, and Tom Perez's mask is off, and Bloomberg's mask is off. And really, there's an entire party that runs half of that is the thought leader for half of the country. Okay, in which it's one leader, Tom Perez, can change the rules to accommodate a path to the presidency for one oligarch that's got bazillions of dollars, that's his buddy. Literally, those two people can effectively run the show for 50% of America that thinks it's liberal. That is the definition of an oligarchy, my friend.
No, it
isn't. Definition.
You actually read the definition of oligarchy, and it wasn't that. But to your point, this was really interesting. They asked, let's say, they're talking to a Dr. Zogby who works with the DNC. I looked into him a little bit. Yeah, definitely seems to be an influential individual. And they said, asked if DNC members received any advance notice or communication from Perez about dropping the grassroots support requirements for the next presidential debate. Zogby replied, of course, no, nobody knew about it. And they mentioned to go on a couple other things. I just wanted to bring up the fact that this was a controversial move, at least within the DNC even, for Tom Perez to do this. However, one last thing, because there is one more angle to this, and that is the fact that while, yes, if Michael Bloomberg isn't on the debate stage, you can't make his case, right? But at the same time, if Michael Bloomberg isn't on the debate stage, he also can't take any criticism. So even as recently as a couple of days ago, we had Amy Klobuchar coming out saying that this headline is such a joke, by the way. She says she did not say she support him in that. I'll support anyone, but I don't like Bloomberg was the comment. Anyway, the bigger thing here is that Amy Klobuchar wanted Michael Bloomberg on the debate stage so his ideas could be challenged and he could have to defend himself. I think the quote she has here is that he can't just hide behind the airwaves. He has to answer questions. So it's not necessarily that everybody wanted to keep Bloomberg off the debate stage. And, well, if you won't get donors, I guess he can't be on the debate stage, because there is that other angle to it where, yeah, if he isn't on the stage to debate, he can just run ads saying, everyone loves me, I'm the greatest, vote for me, and nobody gets to push back against him face to face. So I think it is good to have him on the stage. Although, also, by the way, seeing the candidates up there together, all on a line, on stage together, debating, it kind of puts in perspective a lot more where they are relative to each. You know what I mean? Like, you can see temperament, confidence, just the way all of that stuff comes across. We will learn a lot. So I want to see him on the debate stage.
It's a stressful situation in which their ideas, in essence, should be getting challenged enough that if they're really just pansies that melt under the sun of difficulty, they'll melt on stage. Instead of later on when they're facing off against Russia or somebody, okay? And ideally, it's a stress test. You know, it is indeed a stress test that I think most people appreciate seeing. What happens when so-and-so twists something you did out of proportion in order to call you racist? How will you handle it? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what debates are for. You know, what do you do when you're actually challenged face to face about your wine cave? You know what I'm saying? What do you do when you're challenged face to face about your Medicare for all abstinence or support? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a stress test, and I think it is important to go through, and that's why Americans generally feel good about him being on the debate stage. I just love how he got there. Like, that's just silverback gorilla right there.
But I mean,
I got the money and I'm going to buy my way in.
Yeah, but like I said, at the same time, it's might be best days on the stage for him to have to defend his ideas. So maybe maybe the change was, Bloomberg can't hide. Now, it does seem Bloomberg's relationship with the DNC is a little bit less adversarial and a little bit more comfortable. But still,
most people don't feel that way.
There is other people running who have for months been saying, look, it's not just Amy Klobuchar a couple of days ago. A lot of people have been saying, well, if Michael Bloomberg never goes on the debate stage, how will anyone have a chance to call him out? You know what I mean? So there has been calls for him to be on the debate stage as well. I'm just saying it's not a one-way thing.
Boom. So anyway, do we got anything else we got to say about this?
No, that's the gist of it for now, really. Just talking about the fact that Bloomberg will be on the debate stage tomorrow night. We'll probably be either streaming for the whole thing or for parts of it tomorrow night.
Oh, come on, Mini Mike, we got to get him.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah, and we're going to see a lot. We're going to learn a lot. So I don't love it, but I'd rather see him on the debate stage than not.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be really fun. Dude, he is as tall as Kamala Harris without heels. And unless he comes out there in heels, and she was wearing some sky-high heels in that last debate that she was on.
He'd be the shortest person on the stage, I believe.
Will they literally have to put him? Oh, there's no way they could afford to put him on a podium. But those camera people, they're always trying to
put him on a riser. He'll stay in their box.
Oh, but dude, that would be so optically bad and play into every troll that Donald Trump has said about him.
Okay,
about needing a riser for the debates. I would avoid that like the plague.
And just look like a tiny person?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's stuck literally between a rock and a hard spot. He either looks like a tiny person and doesn't stand on the riser so that all of right-wing media can't troll him, or he does indeed look like a formidable opponent and a taller candidate than he really is for the cameras, and then somebody in that audience is going to take a picture of the riser, and then it's a meme for 3 weeks that's bigger than the viewership of the actual debates.
If Michael Bloomberg is running for president and right-wing memes being mean to him is anywhere in his mind, you should drop out right now. You should drop out today. If, oh no, the Breitbart memes, drop out today, man. Like you're not running for president. You're running for ego. Like the people who don't like you and don't care about you and say bad things about you will probably continue to do so, man. You can't be worried about that stuff. So if that's what he's thinking, dude, then he's got no chance anyway.
Oh, you're always thinking about optics, baby, optics. So anyway,
although he is having a moan up and down the street about Bernie supporters being mean to him on Twitter. So I don't know. Maybe Michael Bloomberg will be so concerned about being mean to him on the internet he'll think about it. But
and by the way, I correct myself. It
tells me you definitely are not ready to be president.
Yeah, I correct myself that I meant to say that he is as tall as Kamala Harris with her 4-inch heels. You know what I'm saying? And she was, I believe, the shortest person on stage in the last debate with her heels. So, and you can see it made a formidable difference. So anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you haven't had a chance, please like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at PSP Radio 1, Instagram at Problem Solver Politics. Send us an email at problemsolverpolitics@gmail.com. If you want to pick up a hat, we got a couple left. You can check it out on problemsolverpolitics.com, and make sure that you join the channel. It's a really inexpensive way to help us keep providing this content free of charge and without corporate sponsorships. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.